Howdy fellas, B Junior back here again on the Endurance Productions YouTube channel, B Junior's Movie Cave, to do a double feature Blu-ray review today on a couple of films that came to me in screener format probably a good month ago, and I've been behind on these from family issues, things like that I need to get taken care of during that time frame. But I'm back in the motions here, and I'm going to go through it today and tell you about I got a double feature of science fiction and monster movie, monster/horror movie, from Mill Creek Entertainment. These folks are putting out a lot of films on, and they do a lot of films. And if you don't know about Mill Creek Entertainment, let me plug this first. They centralize on doing movies in box set format and or double feature formats. They don't really do a whole lot of single features just on DVD or Blu-ray. They're kind of the kings of the budget priced box sets and or Blu-rays. I reviewed some of their films recently, the Ernest double feature, Ernest Goes to Camp, and I believe Ernest Goes to Jail Blu-rays. Today, what I have for your viewing pleasure is a double feature in Blu-ray of Galaxina and the Crater Lake Monster. That's right, guys. Now, for the longest time, you know, I've been an HD DVD enthusiast. Since their demise, I've been able to get a lot of good deals on those over time. And Galaxina was released on HD DVD. I'm not sure if it's ever been released in a single format. This is the only time I've ever seen Galaxina out, but it's in this double feature with Crater Lake Monster from Mill Creek Entertainment. Galaxina, like I said, was released in an HD DVD format, and I'm really unsure how that transfer looked. I don't know if it was a really great transfer or if it had great sound or anything of that nature. I've yet to experience that. I do seem to remember that a fellow YouTuber by the name of Mr. Movie Night, if you'll go check his channel out, you may have to do some digging. He had, I think, Galaxina in one of his updates. And check with him. He might be able to give the inside dope on that version of this film. Now, as far as the Blu-ray entertainment, or the Blu-ray presentation, I should say, from Mill Creek Entertainment, let's go through Galaxina first. Galaxina, story-wise, is basically just a kind of an outer space post-Star Wars spoof is really what it is. Kind of falls into all these, you know, after 1977, Star Wars came out and kind of took science fiction, turned it on its head, and kind of redone it for a new genre, or for a new wave of fans for the genre, or generation rather. Galaxina is just a number of those that came out in low-budget format that tried to basically, I don't know whether you'd say capitalize on Star Wars' fame or success at that time, but it was definitely in there with a bunch of them, like Ice Pirates, you know, just to name a few off the top of my head, just a couple off the top of my head. Ice Pirates, you know, there's just so many of them to try. Laser Blast, you know, all these old 70s schlocky films. Galaxina came out in 1980 on the coattails, as I said, of Star Wars. It stars Dorothy Stratton from modeling fame and everything. You know, I believe that she was the one that was, you know, terribly enough, she was taken from us early before her career really got to take off due to being killed by a boyfriend in a fit of rage, I believe it was. And they did a couple of movies on her. I think one of them was called Star 80. It told her life story, basically, I believe it was. Galaxina kind of basically, she plays an android robot in that movie, and just all kinds of science fiction schlocky hijinks ensue. So it's got some Barbarella kind of feels to it, Star Crash, you know, all these kind of schlocky ones of that era. Directed by William Sachs, as I believe how you say his name. And it's got some character actors in it you may have seen from other movies. Now, this being more of a Blu-ray review, let me give you a little rundown on the picture quality and sound quality of Galaxina. I gotta say, out of the two here, it is actually not the best one out of the two. The transfer on the Galaxina was not that great. It really kind of gave me the feel like it is in high definition, but they didn't do really next to nothing as far as cleaning up the transfer. There's a lot of speckling, there's a lot of cigarette burn, you know, just all kinds of stuff that could be removed, but it wasn't. You know, you could tell it was in a higher definition, but it didn't really look real great. It kind of looked like a ported DVD for the most part. The sound, however, was solid. I mean, the sound sounded as good as it could for these low-budget science fiction outings of that era. You know, but as far as the price that these are going to be at, if you're a big-time Galaxina fan, probably my personal advice on Galaxina, if you're the ultimate Galaxina fan, You probably want to check around, see if the HD DVD, if you have the means to play the HD DVDs, that is. Check around, see if the transfer is any better. If not, I'd probably go for this one on this set. Just know that you won't get this by itself, which oddly enough is pretty neat, because if that dissuaded you from buying this, Crater Lake Monster pays off for the price of the two. I really have to be honest. Crater Lake Monster, moving on to it, is one of those films that just escaped me for ages. I kept seeing one-sheet posters in certain people's collections, and people would talk about it here and there. It's an old drive-in movie that's so terrible it's good, or so bad it's bad in that good way, and all those kind of things. It's basically kind of a stalking horror movie with a monster that's stalking people around a lake. It turns out the monster is, well, this really doesn't do it. It shows a T-Rex on the front, but it's got the stop-motion claymation animatronic or whatever you call it effects. It really doesn't look like a T-Rex. It looks like a dinosaur, but it's some kind of really, really low-budget dinosaur, when they do show the dinosaur in the movie. And that's what I'm glad that they don't show it all that much, but when they do, it kind of takes away from the atmosphere, I think. Because basically you feel like you're watching a movie that's kind of like a mashup of Piranha, the kind of dark humor of Piranha, and like your basic around the camp, around the lake slasher, basically, is what it feels like. But that's really the rundown on it. There's it's a lake with a crater underneath it, and there's an egg hatched it just hatches all of a sudden, and it gives birth to a dinosaur that lay dormant for so many years, for millions of years or whatever. And then basically mayhem ensues. The dinosaur starts stalking the people around the lake and killing them in all kinds of weird, odd ways and stuff. Love the tagline on the front: a beast more frightening than your most terrifying nightmare. Well, it's really not, but it's just good fun in that bad way. I'll just put it that way. Now, more importantly, the Blu-ray inside dope on that one, I gotta be honest, for an ultra low budget 70s drive-in movie, monster movie, horror movie, whatever you want to call it, the Blu-ray presentation of Crater Lake Monster really looked really good. I don't know whether they just got a really pristine 35mm print. That's probably my guess, to do the transfer with, or the interpositive, whatever you call that, but or the negative. But whatever they did, it looks and sounds great. And it's got, like I said, I will probably be revisiting Crater Lake Monster a lot more than Galaxina, just for sheer story content and rewatchability. But I can highly recommend, for the price that these are going to be on the shelves, if you're in the market for a low-budget drive-in monster movie that you may have never seen, this is going to be somewhere probably between about $5 to $12 for this double feature at your local Walmarts, Kmarts, wherever they sell these. I would pick it up at least alone for the Crater Lake Monster, for that very reason. It looked and sounded great, and I just didn't expect a whole lot after seeing Galaxina, plus knowing that one was an ultra low-budget one from the late 70s, I believe it was, 77. I didn't expect a whole lot, but that one just really took the taco. It looked great, sounded great, and I got to be honest, if you're in the market to buy either one of these, I would definitely pick this up for, as long as it's cheap and it doesn't break your bank too bad, and you're just kind of wanting some schlocky good time. That's the way I could recommend this one. Otherwise, probably want to Netflix the DVD, see if they're a cup of tea first before you jump right in and blind buy or anything like that. Well, guys, just a quick rundown. I believe they're both, of course, 1080p high definition. They both sport an English 2.0 DTS HD soundtrack. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's back up a second. Galaxina is in a 1080i format, and the Crater Lake Monster is in 1080p. Don't know if that has anything to do with the whole overall experience. English 2.0 DTS HD surround, and English Dolby 2.0 digital for sound as well. Guys, that has been your Blu-ray reviewage for the double feature from Milkrake Entertainment, Galaxina and the Crater Lake Monster. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Tune in again and I'll have some reviews here shortly. Rock on, dudes.